Welcome back to Maintenance Made on a Budget. Today we're going to show you how to change an air filter for your AC HVAC system. It's pretty important to keep these things changed out, but it is very easy. It's recommended to change them out every 3 months depending on where you live. A lot of things factor into these filters. They trap dirt and any particles that might get sucked up into your vent or your intake system. And especially if you have pets, it is really important that you stay on top of this. And especially since it's so simple to do and relatively cheap to do, why not do it? So first you got to start with the intake. Depending on the type of home you live in, it either is in the ceiling, in your attic, or they could be on the side, on the wall. Either way, it's going to be accessible by either screws. In this case, it's just held together by these like they need to come down, so I'll probably have to get a flat tip screwdriver. That one, just these little tabs, and this one here, if I can get, oh, there we go. Okay, so I've got the tabs and it just comes down like that. Some of them will have screws, and then you just pull the old one out, and you can see there is the intake, and that will go right into a unit. I'm just trying to remember the name. Your condenser, or I'm sorry, your evaporator coil sits inside there. And you can see this one is extremely dirty. And if you can see there, it's pretty bad. And this one, mind you, was just changed probably 2 months ago. Now the reason this is a little bad is because we had a lot of flooring and construction going on. And I purposely wanted to leave it like this for the video, but you can see how bad it is. Now you can just imagine if you have dog hair caked in there, it'll all get trapped in there. They have several different ones. I bought a 3-pack of 3M filters. I believe it was just over 10 bucks. This is the cheaper version. They have the more expensive ones that come with all kinds of additive protective coating along the filter for hypervents. If you've got issues with allergies and stuff like that, they're in there too. But if you're not an allergic person, change them every 3 months. It'll save you a lot of money. I'm going to put in the video here a link to a evaporator coil that we recently had to change out. As you can see inside there, it had a bunch of hair sucked up on the inside, so it kind of looks like a V. And that unit sits up inside or on the side of your walls. And as air sucks in through the filter, it goes through that evaporator coil. As it passes over that evaporator coil, the air becomes cool and then blows out all your house vents. So if you're not changing these, or if you have pets, and specifically if your vent is on the floor where dog hair can suck in easily, you should be more concerned to keep these changed out on a routine basis. Because as you can see the picture I showed you, that's all hair that got sucked up through the vent. And what that'll do eventually is clog up, and it becomes insufficient for the air to pass and become cool, and therefore you start getting warmer and warmer air coming out of your vents. Now with that case, that evaporator coil actually had a crack, so it had to get replaced, but it was a good opportunity to take a picture of it and show you what it looks like. So these filters are very important. Once you pull it out, all you got to do is, the instructions are on the back, and it just basically says look for the arrow. So all the filters will have an arrow like that. That arrow has to be pointing towards the intake. So whatever your house setup is, the arrow has to be pointing towards the inside, not towards the screen. And for doing these, you just I'm gonna probably need 2 hands for this, but let me see if I can do it. It's pretty easy. They just sit up in there like so. And if you're not familiar with what your size is, just take it off. Take a picture of it, go to your local hardware store, and get your new ones. It's hard to do this with one hand, but anyway, you guys get the point. And then once you pop this in, you just simply put your cover up. I'm gonna have to do this with 2 hands. But anyway. Okay, it's back on. And that's it. Back in business. And like I said, imagine this is just in 1 month. So you also consider where you live. We're in the West. It's very hot. AC runs. We keep the AC set to pretty high temperatures in the 80s. Most people probably keep it in the 70s. Either way, it's going to be running a lot. And believe when I tell you, that unit that I put up earlier, that by itself was upwards of $4,000 plus for that particular unit. And again, with that unit, it was because it cracked. It wasn't necessarily because of the dirt, but I've definitely dealt with other units that were completely caked in, and we had to do what's called the acid clean. And the acid clean can run you pretty expensive too. It varies depending on the area, but out in the West, I think it was like a $600 fee or whatever we had to take care of several years ago. But the problem was that particular evaporator coil had so much dirt and dog hair and cat hair and whatever else in there that ice built up all around the unit. And you get a big block of ice. Well, that was part of the problem. That was the crack, but no, I'm sorry. The one that had all that caked up stuff started blowing hot air out of the vents, hot and hot. And so we had to shut it down. And when they came in, they said, yeah, it's so bad that we have to acid clean it. But it was all due to not changing these over the years. So please do yourself the favor. It's so easy to do. And buy a pack, keep it in the garage, set up a schedule. Oh, it's every 3 months is what the recommendation is. This is within just barely 2 months. But this, again, we had a lot of debris going on with construction. Generally, it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, it can be. Especially living out in the West and fires are going on rampant. You know, that's all going to get sucked up into your house. So if you liked the video and it helped you out, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.